Is this recording?
Yeah. See when that big red light is on? Like, one of the main reasons I got the new mixer was so that Dylan would never have to ask that question again.
Isn't it strange, though?
He'll still ask.
Isn't it strange? Like, red is to stop and green is to go, right? And here,
Yeah, and
red
means
is to go and green is
it
to
tracks
stop.
with production where the red light means you're recording.
No, but think about
it's
it.
like communist China.
I hope that stays in.
Welcome to Curiosity Public Dutch.
Jules.
Wait for it. Angelic Dylan.
The great thing is to cut out the pauses. All right, and welcome to yet another episode of our Ultimate Spirits Competition, our quest to review every sipping spirit on the face of the planet and subject it to our crazy hard 100-point scoring system. And we're back to the bourbon here.
Back to the bourbon.
Bourbon's striking again. This has some heat.
Bourbon, American hero.
This has some heat. Now, we normally haven't been reviewing Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, but there's so much heat around this little bottle right here that we decided, hey,
Is it heat or hype?
I don't know. You told me about it, so whatever you describe it as. So this
People are losing their mind.
Yeah, people are losing their mind. This is Elijah Craig Barrel Proof batch C923, which means it is the September 2023 release. It is 133 proof. Ooh. And it has an age statement, which Elijah Craig started recently, and everybody was up in arms because the first one they released with the age statement was actually less than 12 years, or with the specific age statement. You know, they all used to be age stated at 12 years. This one is age stated at 13 years and 7 months. Now, I recall on our podcast actually saying people were so upset when they released an 11-year. I'm like, why are you upset?
Yeah.
All this means is that they're going to be releasing things that are also 13, 14 years old. Mm-hmm. Some of them might be 10, 11 years old. Some might be 12-something years old. It doesn't matter. These have always been blends of stuff, and they're gonna put out quality.
Well, no, wait, hold on. I also explained my reservation about folks releasing older aged products, right?
It's not always better.
It's not always better.
With bourbon especially.
So think about it.
There is a sweet
Stop before you bring out the pitchforks. Think about this, okay? Think about this logic. So if you are releasing things and saying, okay, this is going to be a 12-year product, but you are throwing in, let's say, a 14-year-old bourbon. For me, that tells me something is wrong with that 14-year-old barrel, right? Why did it have to take extra 2 years for it to be palatable? That's what I'm thinking. It's not because, from the goodness of our heart, we needed to add that. Now, it could potentially, but it could also be the other way. My argument is it's usually the other way, where the older age product added, like there are these, I'm not going to name the names of the companies, but they go, we have blends of, like 14 year this year. I'm like, is that really good? Because, if you're buying let's say you're sourcing it, especially. It's like the distillery that's selling it to you is willing to part with a 14-year-old bourbon. You think that's good stuff? They're getting rid of the good stuff? 14-year?
Who knows?
Anyway, no, the answer is no.
This has an age statement of
rhetorical.
13 years and 7 months. Dylan, any other actual information on the bottle? Or?
You know about Elijah Craig, right? So can you put up the history right here? So
go to the website is basically what you're saying. Good. Hard-hitting facts from Dylan today. All right, we're going to get tasting of this. Now, for members of Curiosity Private,
we got a good one.
Dylan was like adamant. It's like,
we got a good one.
I want a taste off. And we are going to do a taste off. Now, what we decided to do is we're going to go back to 2022 and 2021 and pick our best bottles from those 2 years. So we're going to compare this to those in a taste off. Again, that's taste off, trademarked. Okay.
Ding.
Stop stealing. Stop stealing.
And we're going to compare it to our favorite from 2022, which was A122. We blinded them last year. And we're going to compare it to this. Now, we're also going to compare it to our blind from 2021, in which we happened to include some of the barrels from 2020.
Right.
And actually, one of the barrels from 2020 actually beat everything from 2021, and that was the C920. So we're going to do a blind between C920, A122, and C923.
Yeah.
R2D2's coming up too.
May I share with you my concerns?
Yes, please. High proof comparison.
The
punchiest ones.
Where I live, there are various groups where they do these like private barrels, right? And one of the biggest issues I have is that to be honest, I've been disappointed with pretty much all of them. And the reason is I've noticed a pattern. The pattern is the aroma is great, the palate falls short, and it's been consistent. Like they go in, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the environment. I don't know if it's just the way they present it or
Your bias.
They basically go in and go like, oh wow, this smells really amazing, and then I don't know, something gets lost in translation with the palate, and by the time that we are able to taste it, you find it and say, why was this interesting? What is going on? But the aroma
It's good.
is good.
Well, and I think there's a natural, an evolution in your likes and dislikes and palates and enjoying whiskeys in general, or tequilas for that matter. And I think we're going to do an episode of that in the future. But anyway, this is the taste off we're going to do for members of Curiosity Private. Again, if you want to join, hit that join button down below here on YouTube. You can also head over to Patreon. You'll get the same video over there if you would like. Slightly different perks there versus here, but not much. It's good tasting, guys.
Let's go.
I love how you do your math, dude. How many eights?
Exactly.
How many sixes? I have a score. The score actually came maybe quicker than I would have anticipated. But I really want to talk about this one. And I feel like tasting it again after a few minutes of discussion will be an interesting experience. So let's get into it. All right, guys. We've finished tasting and scoring. We haven't discussed our scores. I saw a lot of numbers, a lot of the same number written on Jules's thing. I don't actually know what his final number was, but
I got nothing to hide.
I'm ready to discuss this. But before we get into our scores, Jules, why don't you tell everybody about our scoring system?
That's right. Thanks, Rich.
You're welcome, Jules.
Score up 100 points across 10 categories that include aroma, flavor, body, complexity, balance, finish, uniqueness, drinkability, aesthetics, and value. However, we weigh flavor at 20 points and aesthetics and value at 5 points each. You can medal in our competition. You get a 16 up, go from bronze, silver, gold to diamond.
All right, initial score time. Of course, this can change. We're going to discuss it. Sometimes we go up, sometimes we go down, sometimes we say the same. We never know. Initial score for me, 78.
81.
Not that far off.
77.
Not that far. We're all pretty clustered.
Clustered.
Yeah, pretty clustered. Okay, this will be an interesting discussion. Let's kick things off with aroma. Proofy. That was the first thing I wrote down. I originally had a 7. I ended up bumping it to an 8.
I gave it an 8.
I gave it a 9. This is the best part. This is the best part of the presentation.
It might be the best part, but I'm not convinced it's a 9.
And you know what? No, it is. And I think this is why people are seduced.
There's no floral.
You know what it is?
There's no jam.
You guys are off.
There's stuff, but the proof really buries it. Like there's good spice, there's good sweetness,
Good spice,
there's
good
oak,
sweetness, yeah.
But it's the proof really makes it hard to dig into it for me.
This is like the classical tale of the sirens, right? The music, in this case,
Like
the
the Odyssey.
aroma. Yeah, the music, the aroma
My ears are bleeding.
lures you in. And for sure, I can picture this already. If you were going to do a private barrel and you get this particular pour with all the other ones, I guarantee this is the one you're going to pick, okay? Because the aroma, it starts with grape juice, the wine grape juice, the skin, and then it builds on the stew and the jam. It hits all the marks with the exception of the floral components.
Yeah.
So
that's what I said.
so
Floral's
for our listeners or the viewers who haven't been following us, the Elijah Craig 12-year, before it was discontinued, it was known for a very kind of broad spectrum with a floral component, okay?
But like good oak, good sweetness.
Right. There's no overwhelming
fruit.
oak. There was never
It was
overwhelming
balanced.
oak. It was a very good. People loved Elijah Craig 12-year because it was just a balanced product.
You got a little
right?
bit of everything.
Yeah, and it was $35 for like a 1.75 liter, right? And yet you got everything that you wanted. That was missing. That part, that floral spectrum part, was missing for Elijah Craig.
I feel like I get a lot
But I
of
felt
floral
like
from Elijah Craig,
everything right after that, everything from all the fruits all the way to the wood, very well executed and represented on the aroma.
I'm not going to deny you. I got really good fruits. I got really good spice. I got really good sweetness. I got really good oak. Everything. It's checking it off, but the proof made it a chore to get to it. Like I really had to go back to it and go back to it and go back to it before I really was like, okay, now I realize I'm going to go up.
So I'd like you to reconsider at the end.
I will.
Once it settles down, I think you're gonna be able to break through without criticizing the proof as much.
Make a note when we get to after drinkability. I'll come back to it.
Dutch wrong.
Just remind us
Review.
after. Just remind after.
Actually, write that part
nose,
down. You know, we should take a photo.
Right here.
And also, by the way, Jules has the same crab nose I have.
Yeah.
Right.
Do we care?
Well played. Okay, guys, next category, flavor. This suffered for me because of an overwhelming component, which we'll talk about. Let's get our scores for 16.
Ooh, 17.
I gave it a 17. Okay, and I would say that it was jarring where the disconnect was.
Yeah.
And
especially from the.
I'm sure we're gonna get to the elephant in the room, but goodness, the oak, the woody components are just overwhelming, and I think there's an issue. There's a problem. Okay, when I'm drinking this, I wasn't thinking, wow, what a balanced presentation for me, right? All I could think of is like, man, this is problematic because things are being subdued, hidden. I'm getting these waves of like this slightly sour oak, the wooden flavors. I think the tannic is not as overwhelming. It's just lots of wood though.
Yeah, a lot of wood.
And so that all kind of culminated into me saying probably a strong 16, weak 17. I gave the benefit of the doubt because I felt like the representation of the grape flavor was still there.
So good still.
But man.
My problem with it was that first sip and second sip, well, my first few sips, it was just the spice actually overwhelmed the other flavor components. Later sips, that died down a little bit, so I'll give it credit there. It opened up a bit. There's sweetness, but then there's just this general clump of flavors. And there was something about the way the oak hit and the spice hit that made it kind of hard to tease the other flavors out. Like you can kind of tell they're there, but they were covered up almost. So I know that's balance, but I actually had trouble identifying individual flavors because of the balance. It's weird. Like it was, they played with each other.
I want to give an analogy. I'm sorry, Jules.
Let's get Jules first.
No, that's right.
Well, I'm sorry, Jules. I wanna give this analogy, and you can cut this if you want, right? Okay. But there's an organization that reviews cigars, okay? And one of the biggest criticism of that organization is that they basically review like not even 1/3 of the cigar, and they come to a conclusion, right? And so if I were to observe or experience like 1/4 of the palate, like right at the beginning of the taste,
sip, maybe?
The first sip, or like right at the beginning, without analyzing anything else, I could see basically the siren song. I can understand you being seduced by the initial flavor, but what happens is it starts to fall apart, and so that's the reason why it's not an 18, 19, or 20. There's potential there, but I know that it could be better.
Yeah. I tasted it again, and now I got the spice again, and like it's just there's something that's off about the balance that's affecting my ability to pick out the individual flavors.
Sorry, Jules. Go ahead.
All right, let's move on to body. I'm just kidding. You got anything on the flavor?
No, let's move on to body.
No, you got to do the flavor.
Yeah. What did you give it a flavor? You gave it a 17. I mean, that's better than me.
Said. Yeah.
What did you like about it?
It was good.
What was bad about it?
The stuff that wasn't good.
Okay.
Yeah, stuff that wasn't good.
All right, guys. The body, I actually had to really think about it, but I ended up at an 8.
I give it an 8.
Yeah.
I think it's fine.
good.
Yeah.
It's fine.
It's good. It's weird because like the spice makes me feel like there's something wrong with the body.
I like it.
But it's actually coats
coats
very well.
It's a nice coating.
Good viscosity to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nothing to complain about the body.
Just not perfect.
Not perfect, but pretty good. Like good, what you would expect from a good bourbon.
But I think a lot of it comes from the oak.
Yeah. Okay, next category. What are we on? Complexity.
I struggle with
I struggled with
a lot.
this. I ended up at a 7.
I ended up at a 7.
I give it an 8.
I understand that. It was
There's
just
a lot happening here still.
This goes back to
my
my flavor issue, which was like it was hard for me to pick out the individual things over the spice and the oak.
Yes, that's right. That's exactly right.
They're there, and you can kind of tell they're there, but like that's what I meant. It was like this clump of flavor.
I don't know. I got the fruit components. I mean, I was getting the grape. I was getting stewed fruit. So I don't know. I was able to take that out of the.
No, you're
Did
right.
you just change the score?
Yeah, I went the next one.
Okay.
The complexity, I kept it at a 7.
I mean, you can
I
tell
think
it's there, but it's not presented well. But that's more the next category. But I still had to dock it here because I couldn't really pick them out. I don't know. I had trouble.
Yeah, because ideally, what I want is I want the layers of fruit, right? So I want the journey from the summer fruit, kind of the ripe, the stew, the jam. I want that spectrum.
It's
presented.
there. They're just not
I want the
turned
floral
on
component. I want the wood component
the floral was
balanced
missing
out,
stuff.
right?
Yeah.
So,
that's why
I
it
do
wasn't
agree.
perfect.
Like the oak really berries a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, the oak and the spice vary a lot.
Yeah, and what you end up with
spice
is like caramel sweetness and then oak. Yeah, it's just
There's fruits
It's
in
really
there.
nice.
But
It's in
hard,
there,
you can't really pick them
It's
out.
there.
That's what I mean, yeah. Okay, guys, let's move on to balance. It's really suffered for me a 6.
I went down to a 6.
I give it an 8.
No.
This is the wood part. That's
Yeah, no, and I hear what you guys are saying because as I have more pours, like
sips.
the oak or sips, the oak and the
want another
spice is definitely I'll take another pour, overwhelming it. So I mean I'll go down to a 7.
Yeah, I think it's a soft 7.
Yeah,
Maybe, but like it's
it's
a 6 to me.
I sympathize with your 7 in that this could have gone really
off the rails.
Yeah, exactly.
Like tannic, but
Because,
it wasn't tannic.
Because
that much oak
because in the
that's
last 5 years there are all these companies that are buying let's face it, the garbage barrels, the throwaways, and then they have to do something with it, right? And Elijah Craig doesn't have that problem because they have
so much.
they have the volume of barrel selection that they can say, you know what, we get it, it's tannic, it's too woody, but let's try to tamp that down, right? Like let's get it diluted out a little bit. They're able to do that.
Yeah.
Most kind of craft stuff they can't do that. So I understand the 7.
Yeah, I understand the 7. And, here the thing I was kind of thinking about is that it's almost harder when you have a really punchy flavor profile. Like when you've got big, bold flavors, balancing it is hard.
Yeah.
If your flavors are more subdued, it's easier to kind of get them all in the right bandwidth.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
I understand the 7. This is a hard one to balance. I imagine they probably had their barrels and like, wow, there's some big, bold flavors in here. How are we going to kind of even it out? And this is probably the best they could do with what they had at the time, maybe. And it's like, I get it. It's hard when you're at cast strength and you've got big, bold, punchy flavors. But there's something missing in this one for me, in that balance. So, all right, finish. I don't know why. I ended up at an 8.
I give it an 8.
I give it a 7.
Dude, it is a nice finish.
I really liked
It is nice.
my initial sips. Like I really
tannic.
liked the oak presentation on the finish, and it didn't get tannic.
No.
It was like right up to that edge.
But then I even got a sweetness and a spice that comes in after that. So it
think
was
it's a good
really
finish.
nice. Yeah.
It's right on the edge.
Yeah.
But it's good.
It's dry. It's not
Too
bad.
much dry.
But for me, the reason why it's not 8, 9, or a 10 is because all I got was the wood. Like
get
what
the
I want,
fruit, though.
I
Yeah,
want.
me too.
There's
I
that
get
lingering fruit.
There's got to be a
And the
better
spice.
balanced finish. It wasn't like this.
It's
It
oak
wasn't
heavy.
like
It's oak heavy.
It wasn't a nice. Yeah, it's very oak heavy.
But I thought it was
And
actually a nice presentation
decent
of oak.
finish.
And I mean, the reason I did that is because usually if I get a lot of oak on the finish, I don't like it. This one I was like, you know what? Like
can
it's
keep
not
drinking it.
tannic. Like it's a nice presentation of the oak. It's not always what I want, but like it doesn't go over the edge. And I had to give her credit there.
This is one of those like weird Heaven Hill, like idiosyncratic components of like how they handle the wood.
They do a great job with it, man.
But
Usually. I think the finish worked for me, so. All right, let's move on to uniqueness. I give it a 9.
I give it an 8.
I give it a 7.
So, number 1, this is the oldest age-stated Elijah Craig ever. It gets a point for that. For me.
Yeah,
That's
seriously.
pretty cool to see.
You
That's
mean
like 2
Elijah
points.
Craig barrel proof? Are you talking about that?
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
Elijah
Yeah.
Craig 18.
No,
or Elijah Craig-
so I meant of the barrel.
Barrel
proofs,
proofs.
yeah. It's a high proof point. there's a unique presentation here. Like that, the oak trailing in the finish. I really
That's not tannic.
I think
I'll go up to an 8.
It's a soft 9.
Yeah.
I'll give it an 8.
Yeah.
I think I'll give it an 8.
I do think it's a unique one. Now, whether or not it'll stand out compared to the other two that we pulled, that's going to be interesting.
You know what's really strange about this? I want to talk about this. Look, you know how long time ago there was a lot of criticism over Elijah Craig 18, right?
Yeah.
Why? Why? Over oaked, right?
Yeah.
So when I'm drinking this, like all of the criticism that was like really, like high, it was
In
pretty
your
much a
face,
consensus
like, yeah.
amongst the community that Elijah Craig 18 single barrels, for the most part, were over oaked. Okay, and it just sat on the shelf, right?
Too, yeah.
And now it's this weird full circle. I feel like this is having the same problem because now the newer Elijah Craig 18 single barrel, and I own, ironically, in the last 3 years, I've picked up a lot of them because it got rid of that like component that we hated.
Yeah.
And it's like, whoa, the balance of Elijah Craig 18 has taken up a notch.
I think that's all this is.
In the presentation. And
that way.
so like all of that like criticism went into this bottle for me. And so this is why I'm extremely conflicted. And I think I maybe it's because I'm old and I've lived through the era of, good God, Elijah Craig 18, you can't even drink that. It's just way too much oak. Now I'm getting like hints of this, the same thing,
like
and then
traumatic.
now like people think that it's amazing. I can't subscribe to that. So that's
Fair enough. But
yeah.
subscribe to Curiosity Public.
Exactly.
All right. Next category, drinkability. Wait, you guys aren't going to talk me down from a 9 on uniqueness?
You be you.
All right, cool.
Yeah,
I will be me.
We're cool.
Drinkability, 7.
I gave it a 7.
I give it an 8.
I see the 8. It's a strong 7. I mean, it's drinkable. It's fine. I
dude,
like this.
for how much oak is presented.
But in
I'll
my
keep
mind's
drinking
eye, if I have my shelf of Elijah Craig Ball Proof, I don't know that this is going to be the next one I grab.
I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I feel like there
13
are,
year.
even with that disconnect between the aroma and the palate, I think some of the private barrels are actually better.
I agree. I recently was drinking a 10-year one. I was like,
Yeah.
that's a little more drinkable than
Yes.
this.
Yeah, it's definitely more drinkable than this.
Yeah.
I have a 10-year as well.
Yeah.
And I
It's
just
pretty
recently
good.
got a
That's a
10-year
really
from a kind of a mom and pop liquor store, and it's excellent. Excellent. And again, another
The balance is a little better, too.
it's an example
Excellent.
of why we can understand the criticism of this bottle. Cuz you see what it can be.
Yeah.
Right? And I wish more people could have that experience. I know it's expensive to kind of go through so many bottles and get that
Takes
experience.
time and money, man.
Takes
That's all
time,
it-
yeah.
All right, let's get on to our non-flavor. Oh, you wanted me to reevaluate the nose, right?
Yeah, please. Dutch wrong review crap nose.
I think you should. I think Joel should too, because we have the same score for the nose.
I gave it a 9, remember?
I mean, it's a really strong 8 now.
Yeah, see?
But still an 8.
I think it's still an 8.
Try to put your nose right at the edge here. Go down a little bit more. 45. It leads with the grape.
Yeah, I still get that tingliness from the proof of the spice that I know what you're talking about, but it's not a 9 because I can't get past that tingly bit from the proof and the spice.
All right.
I don't know. It's a strong 8 now.
I tried.
I see
that was
the
the best
9.
point. I think that was the best point.
It's a really good
Aroma's
point of
really
it.
great,
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, now let's get into the non-flavor components. Let's start with aesthetics. 4.
4.
Like the bottle design.
Standard Elijah Craig.
Looks
man.
good.
Yeah.
It's always looked good.
You know why I gave it a 4? It's not because of even like the shape or whatever.
The label.
It's the label, yeah. 923. No, literally the 923.
Oh, because it's your birthday?
No.
All right.
I was
born this year.
Yeah, that's right. You respond. Final category, value. I firmly believe there's no other value score for Elijah Craig Barrel Proof other than a 5.
Ooh. I give it a 4.
This is a $70 bottle.
You know what? I gave it a 4 because
You guys are crazy.
You know why?
You're crazy.
Availability.
Exactly.
It's super available. These are
it is
always
not.
available.
not.
Where?
No.
Where?
You could not find
Any
it.
grocery
I bet
store.
you if we went today
Nope.
or right now, you
No,
wouldn't find
I'm
it.
talking about this.
I saw it
bottle.
sitting on a shelf. You had already bought it, so I passed on it.
Where is it?
It was at the freaking grocery store.
It's gone.
Yes, it's gone now, but I still could have gotten a bottle if I wanted to.
No, when this video comes out, which is January 2024, they need to be able to get it.
They won't be able to get it.
Right now. Okay, January 2024.
No.
On the shelf, there's B523.
But you know what?
There's B523. There's A123. For sure.
Doesn't matter.
Okay, that's available. That is a 5. Okay?
This is also a 5.
This
They're
is not
all
a 5.
5. You know why? Because when this video comes out, the A124 is going to be available, and it's going to be great, and it's going to be totally worth the money. These are always worth the money. Yes, availability on some batches will be harder, but it doesn't matter, dude. If you're really hunting for it, you can find it. You found it. I could have picked one up. It's not that hard.
No. You know what? No. Wait. Before you change. No. Before you change.
He's right.
No,
they're always worth the money. That's always worth the money.
This is always a value. It is always a value.
Prove it to me. Buy it now. Buy it now.
He's right though.
Prove
it doesn't matter.
I don't need to because I could have bought it. I saw it 3 weeks ago.
They're always worth the value.
They're always worth the money. That means it's a value.
Absolutely right on that, dude.
And you can always find one on the shelf. You may not find the exact one, but you will find one. Every season.
It's always worth the value. No, that was the line of it. You sold me already, man.
I understand what you're saying. We're rating this specific release. I understand what you're saying.
But it's always worth the value. It's dead
the secondary
on.
prices
Balls
for this is
I understand your point. I understand your point.
Oh, no, yeah, secondary. But no.
I'm sticking with my 5. You went up?
Yeah, I went up.
All right.
So wait, hold on. I know what the secondary prices are here near my place, okay? What the liquor stores are now charging because they know people are searching for this specific bottle, okay? How high would you go with this? I want to hear it because I know what that price is.
I would pay what I saw it for in the store when I passed on it.
So you cannot get it for that price.
I don't care. I could have.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda.
No, I.
Oh yeah, I can get. You know what? Hey, I can get Pappy Van Winkle for 150.
You were like, hey, I already got the B523. You don't need to get it, or 923, whatever this is.
Yeah.
And so I didn't.
He doesn't even know what the number is.
I don't, but it doesn't matter. This is a 5 for value.
It's the same with the B523.
It is, dude. Seriously, we're about to compare it, and you know what? All 3 of these are going to be totally worth
the value.
Their MSRP.
Totally.
I agree. I think every year this is the best.
So you're just knocking it a point because of the hype that this is received.
That's right.
Okay, I understand why you're doing that. I don't agree.
It's price and availability.
And this was available enough for me to have purchased a bottle. I don't know. From my experience, I'm going to give it a 5.
Yeah, I mean, I could have gotten a Parker's Heritage too.
Oh yeah, you actually saw one of those on the shelf for MSRP?
I saw it on the shelf.
You didn't see it for MSRP? I saw one of these on the shelf for MSRP.
Yeah.
And I passed.
Yeah.
Because I knew you had one.
Oh, because you're lazy too.
I am lazy. I didn't want to have to get the guy to come get it out of the case for me. It required me waiting in the line. All right. Well, agree to agree, disagree on that. Agree to agree. What am I saying? Let's get our final.
Right here. Dutch wrong.
Yeah, let's get our final tally. Dude, we're like a point off on this.
I know.
Jules is the one that's like the outlier. My final tally was a 78. Same score I started with.
I'm the market correction here, 81.
I hope I got this right.
You gonna check your math?
77.
Which gives us our official Curiosity Public score for Elijah Craig Barrel Proof C923. Hey, guess what? It's what I scored it, 78.
Dutch.
High.
Dead on accurate.
Very high silver.
All right, so what are we going to tell the CPU here?
Well, we'll tell them when we compare them.
No, how high would you go for
You just
this?
want to be a guest.
No, because look,
here's my point.
Legitimately, you're not going to be able to get this for $69.99.
So who cares?
So how high are you going to go?
I'm not going to buy this.
For this flavor. It doesn't matter about you. How much would you pay? How much would you pay?
Probably no more than
80.
Yeah, I can't go more. Like, okay, maybe 100, but that's pushing it.
I'm not going 100 for this.
Yeah, maybe.
Cheapest I've seen so far.
If I wanted to follow the hype train,
cheapest I've seen in my neck of the woods, $150.
Not worth it.
Not worth that.
Yeah, it's going like crazy. It's
not worth it.
$150.
It's totally worth MSRP.
Or they'll lump it together and it's still above 100.
I know what you're talking about.
I mean, but it's the hype train, so.
Yeah, because the place that we know, they're selling this for $150.
But with also 2 other bottles.
Yeah, that you don't want.
Yeah, but those are worth 20 to 30 bucks each. I mean, at the end of the day, you're paying 80, 90 bucks for this.
$100. You're paying $100.
I don't think it's worth $100. I wouldn't pay $100.
Oh yeah, that's why you're putting.
I'd
5,
wait till
right?
next
5
year.
for a value. So perfect. Listen to
Yeah,
that.
it's 5.
it's worth
when
it
I saw
when
it sitting on the
it is
shelf for
available,
80
yeah.
and I passed,
It's worth
that's
it
a
every
5.
time, basically.
Because every year there's going to be 3 of these that hit the shelves.
Yeah.
And odds are if you're going to be able to find them.
You know what?
And
I
they're
could
always
probably.
worth
You know what?
MSRP.
I could probably get this for free. Does that count too?
Well, gee, look at this
No,
ball.
no, seriously.
Wow. Next
Bragging
thing
bunch
you know,
over
he's going to bring up
here.
the
No, I can get it for free. Does that count too? Should I take that into account? Values of 5.
I made my own bourbon.
Free.
That's 100.
Blind
That's
me
worth
with
5
this
times the
bling over
amount.
here, dude.
All right,
Where's that gold helicopter, bro?
Jules, please take us out.
What else you guys think in the comments below? Give us a thumbs up, thumbs down. Either way, let us know. Subscribe for more videos from Curiosity Public. If you want to help us out, please consider joining Curiosity Private membership program here on YouTube and Patreon. We are selling t-shirts. Links in the description. And we have a podcast on all the major players. As always, stay safe, stay healthy.
Stay curious. Love our arguing over 1 point
And at one point,
on a 5-point category.
It's important, man. It's important.
I will never not give an ECBB a 5. I think they're always worth
I'm
the
the
money.
market
And that's my message.
I would agree
Y'all
with
know
you
it.
for
So then it should be a
every
5.
single release.
So you're just saying
except this
because
one.
of the hype that everybody gave this, it's no longer
This
a
is
value?
beyond. This is
hype hater.
beyond
If you-
regular hype.
If you
Hype
find this
hater.
at the right price, you should buy it, no question.
hi, Peta.
Again,
No.
you're saying like, oh, I wouldn't pay over $100. That's the reality right now.
It wasn't for me, dude. I could have.
Okay, you know what? I will eat humble pie. I will eat humble pie if the viewers out there honestly write in the comments how much you can get it. When you watch this, write down how much it would cost
because
to
he
get
knows
a
it's not
bottle
coming
of
out for 2
C923.
months. So,
My analysis is always my experience when I was trying to find this bottle. I found it, and I passed. I found
Are
it
you
at
making-
80
and you didn't have to struggle.
Didn't have to struggle.
I mean, come
It
on.
was
You
sitting
didn't
on
have
the
to
shelf.
camp out. Yeah,
There was
on
like
the shelf.
5 of them there.
Hada, hi, Peta.
Maybe I was just lucky that day,
Yeah, those are the ones I love.
which is fine. But that's still my analysis, man.
Serendipity.